Katy Perry and Justin Trudeau were just caught making out on a yacht off the coast of Santa Barbara. I could just see it all. It was totally set up. He's the former freaking Prime Minister of Canada, shirtless, in jeans. Cradling her on the top deck. But here's why I know it's a setup.
She kissed a former Canadian Prime Minister, and the internet lost its mind. One set of yacht photos turned months of whispers into a loud, undeniable moment for Katy Perry and Justin Trudeau. The images weren't coy, weren't staged-looking, and definitely weren't shy. You can see the ease between them in every frame. The lean-in, the laugh, the kind of eye contact that says, "We're comfortable here." Whether you're cheering, side-eyeing, or just stunned, this is one of those pop culture collisions that bends the timeline. A global pop star and a headline magnet statesman meet in the most modern way imaginable. Not with a press release, but with pictures that say everything without speaking a word.
We'll be asking questions of how this happened and why this happened in the coming days and weeks.
Rewind a bit, and the pattern starts to make sense. People who were paying attention clocked early sightings in Montreal, quiet, casual, almost domestic. A walk with a dog, a tucked-away dinner. Later, a low-key drink, where staff said they were polite and easy. Those beats read like the outline of a soft launch. Test the waters, keep the circle small, ignore the noise, and see if this thing grows. It did. Then the summer went warm, and the rumor mill got loud. Still, there was no official statement. Just a breadcrumb trail that led exactly where the yacht photos eventually took us.
Context is really key these days. So little context about everything.
For Katy, the timing adds layers. Reports of a split from Orlando Bloom had been circulating for weeks before any yacht made a splash. Those close to the situation insisted it was respectful, even amicable. The kind of separation where both people prioritize family and keep their work moving. Add in the pressure of a major tour, an album cycle, and the never-off switch of pop stardom, and you get context. Not excuses, not spin, but context. Heartbreak doesn't always explode. Sometimes it fades across late flights and sore throats and 100 green rooms you don't remember the next morning.
Because you actually get a better quality of decision-making when you have an equal number of women around the table, when you have a full range of diversity of voices.
On Justin Trudeau's side, the timeline is public and straightforward. He and Sophie Gregoire Trudeau announced their separation years ago. That matters because it clears room for this new chapter without overlapping vows or messy calendar math. It also underscores something bigger. No matter how public your life is, relationships still evolve in private. And sometimes the rest of the world only catches up when a camera does. If anything, the yacht moment looked like two people who've had the hard conversations already. People who know the storm will come and decided to weather it side by side anyway.
Is because they pulled right next to a whale watching boat. And someone caught it all on camera. What? They were like, yeah, we're gonna let everyone know. We are together. You are mine, Katy.
Now, about those optics. A superstar and a former head of government is not a standard pairing. It's catnip for the culture because it crosses streams. Music and politics, arenas and parliaments, tour buses and state dinners. The internet loves contrast, and this is contrast with a capital C. Fans read it like a romance novel. Critics read it like a PR chess move. But here's the thing. The body language didn't look like strategy. It looked human. Casual denim, a sleek one-piece, sunlight on the deck, and that comfortable angle two people naturally find when they've stopped performing and started being.
Will you marry me? I couldn't lay that high up. Are you really should have asked me about 48 hours ago.
The Montreal thread still matters, though, because it showed a rhythm. First a stroll, then a meal, then a drink. Simple, traditional, deliberate. You don't have to be a professional sleuth to see the intention. Public figures who want to stage a moment rarely bury the lede in a neighborhood bar, and they definitely don't start with a dog walk. If anything, the early sightings said, let's keep this ours for a minute. Then the photos arrived and made it everyone's, because that's how stories go when the people in them are too famous to hide forever. There was another breadcrumb that sent fans into detective mode. A quick, cheeky comment from Katy on stage is hinting that a bold move had happened about 48 hours ago. She didn't name names, didn't wink at a camera, didn't draw a neon arrow. She just dropped a hint that fit the timeline and let people connect the dots. That's how modern celebrity works when you're playful but protective. You give the audience a nudge, not a press conference. You speak in vibes, not statements. And honestly, it's more fun that way, especially when the internet is already sprinting to keep up.
So it feels like I got like the best of both worlds.
Either they're just moving hot and heavy or it's PR romance.
If you're wondering why this story refuses to fade, here's the answer in one word: stakes. Katy Perry isn't just a chart name. She's a pop institution with a decade of anthems and a fan base that can flood a comment section in minutes. Justin Trudeau isn't just a private citizen. He's a figure whose choices still ripple far past his own living room. When two lives like that intersect, the stakes multiply. Every casual moment becomes a headline. Every offhand comment echoes. And every candid photo carries the weight of a press call, even if it's snapped from a distance on a sunny afternoon. Let's also be real about the logistics. Even if this romance is as easy as the photos suggest, the calendar won't be. Tours are relentless. Post office life for a person like Trudeau is still public. That means red-eye flights, FaceTime across time zones, and the delicate art of carving out private minutes inside a life that barely has private seconds. If they keep this going, expect the relationship to be built on moments stolen from a schedule that doesn't like to share. Not glamorous, maybe, but real in a way that people who travel for work totally understand.
She just flipped from Orlando Bloom. Pretty recently, he separated from his wife of 18 years. The timeline is pretty fast, so
The conversation around family is important and stays respectful. Katy and Orlando Bloom share Daisy Dove, and every reliable sign points to thoughtful co-parenting and tight boundaries around what gets said in public. Trudeau and Sophie Gregoire Trudeau have their own commitments to keep things steady for their kids. None of that needs to turn into content. It can remain the protected space it should be. The romance can trend without dragging children into the discourse, and it's on the rest of us, commenters, fans, media, to keep that line bright and clear. So, what does official look like from here? There are a few classic tells. The repeat sighting in a new city, same energy, different backdrop. The first shared frame at a controlled event, not a candid. The affectionate mention that isn't coy, just comfortable. None of these are promises, and they don't owe anyone a reveal. But patterns are patterns, and fame has a rhythm. When two people are truly together, the rhythm eventually surfaces, no matter how carefully you try to keep the beat off mic.
And so, yes, I feel very sexy.
The music of the moment is interesting too. Katy thrives in the big, bright pop space, the kind that channels feeling into a hook you hum all week. A good romance, new, chaotic, alive, can supercharge that kind of artistry. No speculation about tracks or timelines here, just a note about how artists metabolize life. The best songs aren't press clippings. They're snapshots of how it felt. If this relationship keeps glowing, don't be shocked if the glow shows up where it always has for her, in melody, in momentum, in a bridge that makes the arena sing the same line like it's a secret they all share. On the flip side, the political after-echo is unavoidable. Trudeau's public life taught him that every personal moment gets weighed, measured, and debated by people who've never met him. That pressure doesn't disappear when you step away from office, it just changes shape. Dating a superstar amplifies it, sure, but it also humanizes it. People forget that leaders have normal hearts with normal speed limits. The yacht photos reminded everyone of that. Not a scandal, not a crisis, just two public people doing something wildly ordinary, catching feelings where the sun hits the water.
And now we have these pictures. Look, he even has a butt grab. A butt grab. They wanted people to know, right?
If you stood back and drew the timeline on a whiteboard, it would look clean. Early sightings in July, a blink and you miss it crowd cameo shortly after. Then a quiet stretch while the rumor mill spun itself dizzy. Finally, the October spark that lit the internet. That arc isn't messy, it's measured. It suggests two people who tried to protect the fragile start of something before the noise arrived. It also suggests they knew the noise would arrive and they prepared, to the extent anyone can, for what comes next. Fan reaction, as always, is a split screen. Half the comments are living for the plot twist. Big romance energy, unexpected pairing, summer into fall sparkle. The other half is cautious. Too public, too fast, too much pressure. Both sides make sense, but that's the paradox of fame, right? Privacy is a myth everyone politely pretends to believe in until a candid lands. When it does, audiences become juries. The fair response is to enjoy what's public and leave the rest alone. The humane response is to remember there are actual people on that deck, not characters in a show you can pause. As for whether this lasts, nobody outside their circle knows, and that's the point. Real relationships aren't built in group chats. They're built in the in-between. The quiet breakfast before a flight, the text that lands exactly when you need it, the laugh you don't perform for anyone. The photos gave us a postcard. The story lives in the margins. If they keep writing it together, we'll see more postcards. If they don't, the timeline will simply stop. No villain, no conspiracy, just a chapter that ended where it needed to. Here's where we land tonight. A single moment on a yacht pulled a private connection into a public conversation. The context around both of them, her schedule, his history, their families, makes the story complicated in the way real life is complicated. And yet the image at the center stays simple. Two people smiling into the same sun, choosing to stand close, knowing exactly who's watching. You don't have to love it to understand why it resonates. You don't have to ship it to admit it's fascinating. But you do have to admit it's a cultural moment you can't scroll past. If you want the next chapter, the second it drops, here's your move. Like this video so it reaches the people who've been arguing in the comments all day. Drop your take, respectful, sharp and honest, on whether you think we'll see a red carpet reveal or another caught in the wild candid first. And hit subscribe with notifications so you don't miss the update when it breaks. Your watch time and your voice keep this conversation alive, and I'll be right here with the receipts when the story turns again.